Citizens of Israel, last night I had a meeting in Moscow. I met Vladimir Putin. I clarified to him we're going to continue working in full strength against Iran's attempt to have a foothold in the Middle East. I thank my friend Putin, who accepted my words warmly. I returned to Israel, hearing about the support that the U.S. President Trump, he praised the strong leadership, the wise one, and the very strong one in which I lead the state of Israel. I thank Trump, my friend, the president, for his words. I thank him for his very strong support of Israel. This unique connection with leaders of the world is not something that's obvious and necessarily comes always. He helps me support and assure our future and defense and protect our country. The policy that I lead together, my Likud party members who are very talented, has brought Israel to its best decade yet in security, in foreign relations, in economics, in every area. We have turned Israel into a world state, a world power state. We've done this while constantly strengthening our power, reinforcing it. Now, we know that such achievements our opposition knows they cannot beat us in the ballot box. So for the last 3 years, they have started a political campaign to attack us, a witch hunt whose role is one and one only, to cause the right, politically on the right party to fall and the left party of guns to go up. They have caused bullying. They've caused bullying and other pressures in order to cause us to fall, by saying that they're going to have now the prosecutors, even though there is nothing there, they are saying they're going to start a prosecution of me for one reason only, to affect the votes at the ballot box. Now, since the Attorney General is only a human being, the pressure on him has succeeded. I want to tell you that something happened, very, very serious happened, that affects the democracy in Israel. First time in the history of Israel, you start hearing several weeks, several days before the elections. Every citizen knows that this move is outrageous, that is intended to cause the right parties on the right to fall from power and bring down. There's no other explanation. Right at the time of the elections, and that was their goal, to swamp the public with fictions which are outrageous and false, ludicrous ones, without my having the option or the possibility to tear them apart, tear those false allegations apart. You should have no doubt I'm going to disprove each and every claim against me. But the possibility it will succeed at the votes, at the party, at the elections, which the most of people, it will not affect them at all, despite what the communications, the media says. But if it's sufficient, if it will affect a minority who will, God forbid, cause the left to come into power. You've heard it just now. You're going to hear it. You have special broadcasts. You have parties in the broadcast rooms. I have to tell you, I don't remember when the left was so happy as now. Not only that they're creating out of whole cloth, they're creating whole suits out of all cloth. All these parties, when they did it to Yaakov Ne'eman, the Minister of Justice, when they did this to a great hero of Israel, Rafael Eitan, the previous chief of staff, when they did to another hero of Israel, Kahalani, they choked them. They had parties. Both Ne'eman, Kahalani, and Rafael, there were detailed claims. There were supposedly, allegedly proofs. It proved nothing in their case. Because you know how it ended. You know how it ended. It ended the way it ended in all cases. It ended with zero, nothing. And why did it come up to nothing? Because there was nothing. As with me, there is nothing. There is nothing there. But there are things, additional ones that I need to say, that I must say, which I have not said. In this witch hunt against me, they didn't avoid any means. They are literally or figuratively causing to spill the blood of my family, my son, shaming my son. They brought my family. For 3 years they've done this. Through seven levels of hell. Several circles of hell. It started by try to claim that I and my wife have six cases of bribery. And now, even before the hearing, even before I spoke, even before I presented all the documents that disprove everything, already now 5 out of the 6 cases are already destroyed, fallen apart. And I promise you, the rest of the claim will evaporate into nothing. They will evaporate and fall apart when I will show that the state witnesses, those giving state witnesses, are going to be disproven. They were told, either you give us some false evidence against testimony, or you'll against Netanyahu, or you'll go to kill. They brought tens of witnesses there were tens of witnesses who were not questioned, who could have proven my innocence. We have transcripts that all my decisions and all my actions were done, all were done properly according to law. There's not going to be a single iota of truth in it, not in the false ones, not filed, not case 1,000, 2,000, or 4,000. It's all falsehood. For example, it's amazing. You have newspaper, you have speakers. You take everything that was said by a spokesman here of every politician, and only in my case, they make it into a criminal offense. It's amazing, astounding. My statement defending my son has became a criminal offense. What father wouldn't say something? So they agreed to remove that particular claim. Everything will be heard and raised in the hearing. Professor Alan Biderowitz, one of the greatest jurisprudents in the world, said that this is a danger to democracy and to the freedom of the press and the police and the interaction between the government and the media. He says there is no precedence for this in the world, not just in which that something like this is bribery. When they speak about bribery, I want you to, they don't talk about money. They don't talk about envelopes. They don't talk about cash. They talk about 2.5 articles in a newspaper out of ocean, not of statements and articles against me. It's Walla, the newspaper, is a leftist that is very anti-me. If you have Google, check it on Google. There are a lot of articles. But check it. Check it yourself to see how many things were against me on Walla. I'm the first person in history who was blamed for he was accused of bribery for trying to get positive reaction from the press. It's curious, they don't check any other, like Moses, other politicians. Moses supposedly agreed to close the newspaper Israel Today, which was in powers of Moses. This is the challenge, because it requires abilities, intellectual abilities. I don't have it. I can't contend with it. Can someone explain to me whether a positive article is in fact bribery? Why didn't they question Yair Lapid, who met dozens of times with that newspaperman and received a flood of positive articles supporting him? Why was he not questioned? I ask you, how can it be that I, who stopped this law, they want to bring me in front of the court, and they are not even questioned? This is a upside-down, topsy-turvy world. They say that a positive article for me is bribery. And what about Elif? They took hundreds of billions of shekels, and what did they find? Cigars, hot foods, trays, nonsense. They exaggerate the numbers in an unbelievable fashion. They take all the champagne and good friends, the champagne and cigars that were purchased by friends, and they put it all on me. It's interesting. Then other cases where you have gifts, for example, Olmert, the president, who received he received ultra-expensive fountain pens from friends worth over 1 million shekels. Olmert, the prime minister, former one. Back then, it was said there was no point even to investigate it. You know the principle already. If it's not Bibi, no investigation. But here, there is tremendous pressure, both of the media, of the left, and also people in the Justice Department, to bring these and to bring these all in just before the elections. And also, which is also receives a lot of leaks. The extreme line against me was God and so on. But how can one more thing, can you explain to me, please? How can one explain? So Yad Ben Ari, who pressured to the state prosecutor to come with a decision against Tzipi Livni, it stopped because back then the investigations against her were considered intervention with the elections. So this has been, in a manner that's outrageous, made it against them, against me and not them. I hope it's not the case now. But one thing is clear. There is one law for everyone, one different law from Netanyahu. There's a rule as far as elections for everyone, and there are special rules for Netanyahu. I am telling you, citizens of Israel, this entire house of cards is going to collapse. I'm absolutely certain of it. I'm certain of it. 4,000%. I intend to continue serving you and the country and the state as the Prime Minister for many more years. Don't believe all those spins. I plan to serve you as Prime Minister for many years to come. But it depends on you. Not the people who work for the government, not in the broadcast, not in those who are giving the interpretations on the media. It's the citizens of Israel who will determine it. Don't let this witch hunt to confuse you. The decision and the choice is very simple. A weak left government supported by the Arab parties, or a strong right party with me and the Likud. Many of you, in the last 24 hours, and generally, many of you say to Bibi, we're with you. We're with you, and don't break. Don't collapse. I'm not broke. I'm not falling apart. I will continue. And then you ask me, where do I get all the strength to withstand this witch hunt? So here's my answer. I get my strength from three things. First, from my beloved family, my wonderful family, which is the love of my life. Second, the knowledge that all the accusations lack a word of truth. And third, from you, the citizen of Israel, from you, my beloved, dear citizen of Israel, who support me, said I should continue leading this state for the future of us all. Thank you very much. Thank you.